Everybody, okay. So we were, the new project, we were introduced to acting companies, and with these acting companies we had to create a deleted scene in a sense that still followed the plot of The Great Gatsby, but as long as we made our historical references and followed the plot, we could do whatever we wanted to. And it was a real life act, you know, we got to act in front of the whole class. In our scene, Gatsby died at the hands of Tom because he was consumed by his anger and rage about all the drama. Anyway, so, you know, I received, they gave me the most dramatic death. So if I was to die, I'd be the best. Never mind. Yes, anyway, so that was just another example.
All right, thank you, Tony. So after learning about our projects and kind of what they're like, you only really got a taste or a hint of them. That was 4 out of, I'd like to say, over 100. But anyhow, what are our courses like at New Tech? People ask us all the time, what's so different about them? Well, we have this thing called dual courses, or team taught, or joint courses, and it's 2 different classes in 2 periods, but 1 class. Like I said, political studies earlier. We have this thing called communication studies for freshmen, so English Standard 9 and drama. And this is something me and Tony didn't have. We had English Standard 9 in geography, right? And but what's so great about taking drama as a freshman at New Tech is, since we're going to be doing so many presentations throughout the years, it's really great to get that whole confidence, self-conscious thing out of the way. So we're really envious of what our freshmen have this year and what they have to take. Some really cool classes that we have are Digital Media 1 and 2. This is required to graduate from New Tech. It used to only be 1 year, but now it's 2 this year. What that covers is basic programs, so how to really use your computer. I mean, some people, you know, are out of the country or really just never touched a computer, get to understand how to use one. But it also takes us into Adobe programs or video editing programs or multimedia forms. I haven't taken digital media too, so I couldn't really tell you about it. But we also have Spanish 1 through 3, Art 1 through 4. We have this thing called video production, and that's for people after digital media 2. I did take that class. It was a really great way to expand the forms of video making. And although it is kind of a one type of person class, I've seen some amazing blossoming happening in that class. We know people who have entered in film festivals 1,000 times. That video trailer that you guys watched, Blind, was created by a friend of ours named Luke, and he is very well on his way to going to a video making college. No idea how, but he has all these plans, and he's incredible. And because of video production, he's be able to expand his, interest. Just to let you guys know, since we have only 400 students, we can't have a massive amount of teachers teaching all these different elective classes because no one would fill them. So we have contracts with Napa High and Vintage High, our 2 larger high schools in Napa, that allow us to take courses at their high schools. So we are not limited to just what New Tech has. Another thing that New Tech encourages is taking Napa Valley College community classes. Napa Valley Community College classes. And this way, students are more prepared and understand what it's like to be a college student. Even if it's just a community college, it's a really great way to expand. We all are, which I'll tell you about in a moment, we have to take 12 units to graduate from New Tech. I know that sounds like a stretch, and that's an entire semester of college, but it's something that New Tech expects out of every student, and that is to stretch and grow and go beyond the bounds of high school. So, moving on to our 8 learning outcomes. You guys got to see a few examples of these. This is the basic structure of what New Tech wants to give students. And this is all the way we are graded. It's different throughout every class. There's more content in every class, but these are the very basic learning outcomes that they want us to have. Work ethic. That's kind of self-evident. Do you turn your work in on time? That's a large portion of our grade. It's usually 20 to 25% of our grades in each class. Do you turn your work in on time? Did you meet did you have every bullet point of basically all the, I don't want to say all the standards, but all the, how do you put it? Like the structure is there. You at least meet the bare minimum. Anyhow, work ethic is huge. Are you willing to work? Are you willing to take the time? Are you not late all the time? Work ethic is a big deal. Critical thinking. Critical thinking is more so up to the teacher on how far they want to extend that. But critical thinking is a big part of New Tech and a big part of the grading portions of our projects. Written communication, oral communication, which you're exhibiting right now. You guys can grade us later. Collaboration, Tony touched on that, and that's a way to actually grade other students in our groups, so that what the teachers missed out on, the students can kind of fill in. So usually a teacher only sees the final product. The students really know who worked and who didn't. Collaboration is a really good way to get that across to the teachers. Technology literacy, also exhibiting that. I'm not amazing at Prezi, I haven't used it. So anyway, career preparation. That isn't something we're necessarily graded in each class, but that's a big part of New Tech. Citizenship and ethics, also a big part of New Tech.
We're going to stop it right here just for the sake of time, and we're going to take questions now. I know there's a lot of information, there's a lot more we could have said, but questions right now.
Glad to see some hands up. Right before we get going, though, we do have the parents here from Valeria's family, and so they've had some great comments. If there's questions from a parent perspective, we had staff that were on the visit, so we have the teacher perspective as well. But once again, great job. And they're very articulate, so ask your questions. So it's a one-time show here today for you.
Yes.
Project-based learning, obviously, there's an emphasis on self-directed learning and independent and collaborative work, and the teacher's a facilitator. What happens if, like, say, you guys didn't have the benefit of that drama class your freshman year? Your presentation is is critical, how you're able to communicate your information. And let's say you're not strong at that, or let's say it's a written report or an art report and you're not strong at that. How do you get that content knowledge in the sphere of this whole project-based learning mechanism?
Experience. Definitely freshman year is a very trial and error kind of year. They do not take it nearly as seriously and nearly as, hey, you need to know these programs, and hey, you need to present in front of the class. They understand that you just came from middle school and you're this shy, 13-year-olds going through all these hormones. But no, they really do break it down and help you. They motivate you, is what they do in the beginning of any process. They don't expect you to have all these skills right off the bat. What the point is, by the time we're juniors and seniors, we have these skills and we've developed them in the areas that we used to be weak in. So it's not like you plop in there and they kind of expect you to do everything. That's why we have Digital Media 1 and 2, because later in those years, they do have projects that require you to use technology. And if you don't know how to use them, it's kind of tough. So.
You both have better public speaking skills than many grown-ups. So that's very impressive. My question is more about the base that students are able to come to your school. So maybe this question might be for the parents or one of the staff. So there's 63 of these types of schools. Is it a lottery to get in, or is it based on a geographic area? It's lottery.
It is absolutely lottery. There is no way of picking out grades. One's better than the other. It's public. You get your name in. Lottery numbers have gone up over the years, I can say that. Like I said, it used to not be very popular, and then it expanded as people saw results, and now we have tons of people on waiting lists who plop in when people drop out.
So it's considered a charter school then?
It's
Yeah.
Essentially a private school. No, I'm sorry. It's essentially a public school with a private school education. There's no fee you have to pay at the end of the month. It's all free. But at the same time, we have to rely on fundraisers and extra funding to make sure that students can achieve their homework. Yes.
Yes. Let me jump in on that real quick. It's not a charter school. We're really pleased with the staff we have, and we don't. Part of a charter is when you really want to do something beyond what you can do here. We think we can operate with the great teaching staff we have. We've got the community that we want. We're right here for a reason. We can bring this high school with our current situation and right into our district. Okay, we've got 2 great high schools. Roy Grande and Napomo. This brings a 3rd one on, and we think it allows us to reach more students.
And there's the need for that 500 or 400 more slots in the area. So
it wouldn't necessarily be 400 more. It would just be reaching 400 more students inside of our district. That's what we wanted. Does that make sense? Then we have our high school population. There's different levels of success. We want every kid to be able to access a program that's going to give them the